right, welcome back, everybody, to another show of Flyweight Connections. I'm here with my buddy Joe. Joe?
Hey, what's going on this evening, ladies and gentlemen? So today, on this episode, we have Sharp, a good guy that I got to spend the last weekend with, hanging out in Arkansas and doing spec hunting. Hey, how you doing on, Sharp?
Going good, man. Going good. Looking forward to trying to get on some more birds in the morning. Hopefully going out the same spot, see if we can't get some.
All right.
Nice.
Hey, just let the viewers know who do you guide for? Give us a little background about yourself, where you're from and who do you guide for, up there in Arkansas.
So I'm actually from Georgia. I'm a full-blooded oozer. But I'm guiding for DWL. This guy named Dustin Wilbanks, kind of small time. It's kind of crazy how we met. I was selling my truck in front of my house, and his mom came by it and saw it and sent him my number. And he gave me a call, and I sent him the link on Facebook. And he told me, he's like, hey, I can't come look at it today because I'm going to Arkansas in the morning to go help a farmer pull some rice out of a field that he leases for duck season. I didn't even say anything to him about it. And then I sent him that link, and he goes, bro, are you a duck hunter? I was like, big time, man. You don't even know. And then we kind of got to chatting. I'd done a little bit of guiding and kind of booking hunts for a buddy in Southwest Louisiana. And we got to talking, and we worked out a deal. And this is my first full season coming out here and doing it with him. And I'm loving it.
Nice.
Sounds like the dream.
Oh, it is.
I know, man.
It looks like the dream.
But you say you're from Georgia. You a Dogs fan?
Oh, yeah. Let's not talk about it.
I was just about to bring that. That sucks, man. Yo, I guess Jimbo's the only one that's going to do it. The only one that's going to beat Saban.
We'll see him back in the national championship.
Yeah, we saw what happened last time. I don't mean to make this a football podcast, but, man, that's my second love is college football. But
that's a sore story right now.
Yeah. But yeah, man.
Actually, I had a guy call me who he came out and did a hunt with us for early spec. He's a big Alabama fan, and he called. He's passing through the area, and he was thinking about coming out and doing another spec hunt this week because duck doesn't open till Saturday, and he had to bring it up. And I was like, you better be careful, man. I'm gonna put you in the gar hole. You keep about the dogs.
I mean, I'm just saying A&M beat them, so I'm going to go ahead and keep saying this for the next 12 years. So, but yeah, man, that sounds good. So do you call professionally or do you just guide?
I just guide. So what really got me into duck hunting was my uncle was the head of fisheries at Reelfoot Lake in Tennessee. And he kind of introduced my dad to some guys. It was the Bunch brothers, and it was Tim Bunch who kind of ran the guide service. One of the craziest guys I've ever met. And my dad took me when I was in sixth grade, went out there, and I just heard guys just doing the highballer and stuff and that just got me hooked. Like out there on that public land, I mean, it's just whoever can be the loudest, and it's one of the coolest things. And I just absolutely fell in love. And then I kind of got in sports and didn't do much hunting. And then we went back out in early high school. And then I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I want to do. And all I've done is I'm self-taught from YouTube and blowing my ears out in a truck. Just always have a duck call or a goose call on me.
Nice. What do you prefer, duck or goose calling?
So I was really big into duck, but then I started hanging out with a bunch of my Cajun buddies. And I got a spec to do it right one time, just like awful, just and it did it, and I absolutely fell in love. So I've kind of really been working on my spec calling, and Arkansas is fairly easy just because we have a very, very, very large number of them, but they've been tough this year. And a lot of times too, when I'm hunting them here, we're kind of doing a combo hunt. So you're hunting over sheet water on those rice fields. And as y'all heard from that one podcast with Hayden, they don't like a lot of duck decoys. So some fields we have are set up really well for it, where you can put your ducks in the front and then do like a nice little pot of specks behind you. But then like here, it's if you don't lease it, you don't hunt it. Yeah. So some of our fields, the way the pit's positioned, I don't have access to that field behind me, so I can't run my decoys behind me. But sometimes it does work where I'll do like a little pocket off to the side from the ducks, because a lot of times too, I match my scout. So whatever I see out there on those fields is what I run.
Yeah. So you said you're from Georgia. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you do hunting out there too.
Yeah. If I shoot 2 wood ducks in Georgia, that's a hell of a day. What kind of got me into Arkansas, I'm very fortunate. My dad's very big into hunting, but he doesn't know how to do any of the calling, any of that stuff. So that was kind of my job. So we've been going down about 2 hours south of here. I prefer not to say because it's my little hidden gym. So I don't want to have one running over there.
You can tell us offline. You'll be all right.
Yeah, we leased we leased some land down there, and it's a big group of them and his buddies, and also some of our clients. We have a little plant nursery, and we kind of take some guys out with us, and it's a DIY. We leave, and it has a lodge and everything on it, so we just bring our machines and stuff. And we got into it about 6 years ago, kind of doing it, and then him and I have just became completely obsessed of do it yourself. Just I've had really good experience with guides, but then I've also had bad experience with guides, and it's just fun to the satisfaction of doing it yourself, saying I put these decoys out here, I did this, and it's more fulfilling to me kind of doing it myself. And so that's how I kind of got to learn how to hunt rice in Arkansas. And then after that, I kind of became my obsession. I'm obsessed. So I think my favorite hunting is on rice fields, just because the mixed bag aspect. Like you can kill so many different types of birds.
Yeah. So I don't know how it works with y'all. So as far as like guiding in Arkansas, if somebody wanted to, find you or whatever on the show, how would they get a hold of you, or even the organization you guide for?
So right now, like I said, very, very small time. Most of the stuff we do is through the Facebook group Guides and Leases. Mm-hmm. So we post on that, but then a lot of my clients is word of mouth and my buddies. So I kind of, like I said, I was working with a guy named Brett Chapman down in Lake Arthur. I still do early teal and stuff with him. If you've never gone down to that area and done early teal hunting, it is a must.
Nice.
It is one of the coolest things in the world. And so I kind of got hooked up with him through the Guides and Leases page through another buddy. And then him and I just kind of hit it off as friends. And him and I worked a deal where I put all these groups together. I usually bring about 16 or 17 guys down every opening day, and we kind of have a ball. It's a really good time. It's a party for sure.
Yeah, man. It sounded like, from what Joe was telling me in the pictures he sent, I was kind of jelly, I ain't gonna lie. Sounds like good times, man. I got to make it out there.
Yeah, but at the end, I can put my phone number on here, and you can either look up me or Dustin Wilbanks on Facebook. And if, like a lot of guys, it was funny. We had a kid message us on there, and he texted Dustin. He's like, "Hey, do you mind if I ask, what people think about you on this page?" And he goes, "Go ahead, man." And I didn't know this was happening. I go on there, and it's like 15 comments of nothing but, "He's a great guy, one of the best hunters." And I was like, and this was before I even started guiding. So I was like, you know what? I think this is going to be a good season. I'm so blessed. I'm surrounded by great people, and you work with great farmers. I mean, it's awesome. This has been a hell of an opportunity for me.
Nice.
Yeah, it was definitely a blast being down there this weekend. That first day, the first day the ducks were there and the ducks were working. They put a pretty good show on. But like you were saying, hunting the stale birds that first day. Being like in a traffic zone, known like Arkansas necessarily for a lot of birds isn't final destination. How do you compare it to hunting down in Louisiana? Well, what differs when you hunt in Arkansas versus when you hunt in Louisiana?
So Louisiana, it's more teal. I just mostly do teal stuff. And down there, you're hunting your calendar migrators. They're coming down. And a lot of times too, you're hunting fresh hatchier birds that haven't ran the gauntlet yet. And like in the regular season, by the time the birds get down to Louisiana, I mean, they got a master's degree. They know everything, man. I mean, they get smart and they get wise. But those teal that come down right there in that teal season haven't seen decoy spreads. Most of them haven't seen decoy spreads. So you're shooting a lot of young birds, and it gets stupid. Just put out a bunch of spinners. Get ready.
Yeah, these last 2 seasons down here in Louisiana have been, I gotta say, magnificent.
It was good.
Hey, Joe, we were talking about when you're up here, like the hurricanes. Can you touch on that again for a second? I remember you saying something about y'all saying something about the hurricanes.
So
hunting.
This is my thought about it. I've noticed it this season. So we got teal early August last year, and we we knew we were kind of watching this hurricane build off the coast, and Chris was there for the good old hurricane, and there was build up, so everyone knew about it. It hit. It was a tragedy to Louisiana, to Southwest Louisiana, and a lot of us duck hunters, we were really worried about the birds going to get pushed out because we were seeing big numbers of huge numbers of teal, and the last couple of years of teal season, 19, 18, and 17 are the ones I've hunted when I moved down here. They weren't great teal seasons. If you went out with 4 guys and shot a 2-man limit, a 2.5-man limit, that was a really good day because the teal, it felt like the teal weren't really here yet. But all those teal, came down, and instead of getting blown out by the hurricane, it kind of seemed like they hunkered down and stayed, and they stayed a lot longer. I don't know if it kept them from pushing south because, the hurricane was coming from the south. It kind of pushed them back north, and they kind of do the slinky effect. But we, last season, we really got on them really well. And this year, Louisiana had more storms on the east. And this duck season has been really slow where I'm at in Southwest Louisiana. I'm hunting Welsh, Lacassine area. Really good areas. I have my leases up there in Kinder, right next to Pine Island. And those are, awesome duck destinations. But it seemed like after the East Louisiana, Southeast Louisiana got hit, they're keeping ducks. Last couple of years, Venice hasn't been doing so hot. And you started looking on Facebook and looking at the reports, and Venice is holding birds now, where usually at this time of the year it wasn't. So I don't know if those birds follow that weather, they kind of get stuck from pushing, storms coming from the south, pushing them north, and kind of keeping them in that little zone. But that's my little 5-cent theory on that.
Yeah. I will say, especially from me experiencing it too, the season before that, I didn't think, was it the season before that when we had, it was last season when all those hurricanes happened.
Yeah, it was your first season duck hunting.
I know there was a big issue with basically trees were knocked down, the acorns that the wood ducks eat were just gone, and then I didn't do last year's teal season. I did this year's teal season. We got, how many birds did we get this season?
I ended my season with just over 40 for myself. I think opening day we ended up with 10 or 12.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I know the weather did a lot with like big game and stuff because I had that at least with good old Gilbert for big game. But I know the hurricanes affected that a lot. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I think you're right as far as when the birds staying and coming back because I did feel that when that hurricane came, they just kind of like not want to push south.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it was for you guys opening day up there in Arkansas, but man, opening day for duck and everything here's been real slow for big duck. We thought we had a lot of big birds pushed down in September. September teal season. On opening day, I could have shot a mixed bag of everything you could probably thought of. Probably 4 or 5 different species of birds, from wood duck, pintail, whistling ducks, some mottled ducks, teal. But it seemed like big duck season that they opened up here that, I don't know if they pushed north, pushed south, got pushed to the east with the storms, but South Louisiana this opening season hasn't been holding much ducks. What we have been holding is a lot of snows and a lot of specks. You were saying, Sharp, that up north is pretty. You guys started pretty good off with your Arkansas opening day.
Yeah, so I hunted that one little spot. I did a fun hunt for 3 days with my dad and his buddies, and we did all right. We did pretty good in the timber. We hunted timber opening day. I will say the one bad thing about opening day here was a really full moon. So I stayed away from the rice fields because I could hear them feeding at night. They were just feeding at night. So we decided to go try a little cypress slough. And I think like there were six of us. I think we ended up with 21 birds. A few mallards. Mallards did it okay. Shot some wood ducks. And then up here where I'm guiding at, it was hit or miss. I mean, it's kind of weird right now. It's like if you have water, you have birds. But so there's this one pit. It was a pit that we hunted in, Joe. So I was hunting for early.
The first day or second day?
The first day. The pit we hunted the first day on that farm. The one close to our little sanctuary over there.
Yeah.
I was hunting that for early spec, and first day there's something was off. They just didn't like something. Shot a few birds. Then second day went out same spot just because out here it's kind of hard. Like it's hard getting, like I said earlier, getting permission, and doing stuff like that. It's like if you lease it, you got it. So I was just kind of running traffic in these spots. And second day, I mean, we should have shot our limit, but I had 5,000 ducks and pintails tornadoing into my decoys, so I couldn't let my clients shoot. It was probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It was most birds I've ever had come down in front of me in Arkansas, and it was unreal. Like we sat there for 10 minutes and just watched the show. I mean, pintails were running into each other. At one point, you could almost like stick your hand up and grab one. It was driving everybody nuts, but like everyone enjoyed the show. It was one of those things that was cool to watch. I was like, all right, it was hard because, we'd have 12 specks come flying in 10 yards in front of the blind, 10 yards off the ground. And I was like, can't shoot these guys. I'm sorry. Because if you shoot, you're all going to knock down 5 pintails apiece.
Yeah.
If we get a group that slides off behind us, or we'll shoot at them. And we kind of had a group kind of do it. But then I was like, all right, we're going to shoot on these, even though they're a little high. But I had to shoot just to get all those birds out of there. Because if we wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't have been able to shoot anything because pretty much our hands were tied with all those ducks. And they did.
That's how teal season down here was with those dang wood ducks. Opening day, I probably had, Chris is my witness. We had 500 wood ducks, probably within our little 100-mile or 100-yard square. Just constant wood ducks and to the point where we were shooting them out of the decoys. And all the teal season pretty much stayed consistent. The big groups of wood ducks and those whistlers. And then towards the end of it, we had, what do you call it? The pintails. The pintails came. We had a good group of pintails down here during teal season. Yeah, so I definitely feel your pain on that. That's how my teal season was. And it was only in the marsh and the rice fields how it was like that.
I was getting a bunch of Snapchats from my buddies down there towards the end of teal season and all the big ducks coming in. It was crazy. I figured y'all would have had a good opening day. It's like where the birds went. Like here, that blind that I'm talking about, they shot, I think, 3 birds on opening morning.
Yeah.
But like I said, what they were doing was they're feeding at night, and then we have that sanctuary. So it's not a true sanctuary. What it is, it's a farmer. He has about 200 acres, and for 20 years, he hasn't let anyone hunt it. So it just holds birds. And what they're doing was, like, Arkansas, my opinion of it is there's not much of a feed, a loaf, and a roost to an extent. Because a lot of times what they'll do is they'll just go to one spot and they'll stay on one spot. And that's what happened to us. So those birds weren't leaving that field the first day we hunted. And we kind of went in there and they're feeding on this one patty, and they're feeding on this one spot and this one patty. And with all the guys we had, it was just physically impossible to get out there and hunt it. It's just not a good hide. And also, I think we tried doing the mow marshes there, but I think they got a little educated, got a little smart, and like we were talking about earlier, very stale birds. But on the edge, didn't get anything, and about an hour of hunting, I was like, all right, we got to change something. You know, I kept moving decoys, kept doing something. They just kept hitting that same spot on the patty. So I had a pit about 300 yards away. We went and hopped in that and almost flipped the machine too. That was a little sketchy.
Oh yeah. But I will say that was a sign of a good guide. You know, and you see it, you know, guide in other places. Sometimes, you know, you get, you know, we were talking about a guide service I used before in Arkansas. You know, some guys, you know, they get in there. They're, hey, the way we're going to hunt is how we're going to hunt. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. What I will say about you, Sharp, is you definitely, you went the extra mile, and you weren't too prideful to not change what was going on with the, what do you call it? Situation about, you know, hey, this isn't where I changed the decoy spread a little bit. All right, hey, bud, like, it's time to go. Time to go somewhere else. And, you know, eventually, I mean, we got birds that day. I mean, for stale, like you said, for stale birds, we made it happen.
Yeah, and in the afternoon, it got pretty good for us, too. We had a few.
Yeah, afternoon did good.
Jump in a little bit. They actually did it right. And then we should have ended up with a few more, but we had the other guys who hadn't really duck hunted before, and we wanted to put them on birds. So we saw other birds working them. We're like, oh, let's not shoot. Oh, we should have shot.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Chris. It was hard having ducks in in the decoys, and like just knowing like
you didn't shoot,
not shooting. Like we're trying to get these guys, and we set them up in a real good spot.
Yeah.
It's just ducks shouldn't do what ducks do, but you know, just talking about that morning, you know, we had a couple different types of layout blinds. When you're using those mow marshes, and I always seen those mow marshes kind of like the people using them as, you know, chairs and flooded. I didn't realize they were so versatile. But what is your favorite layout blind to use when you're guiding with clients?
So I'm kind of limited with that because the outfitter I work for only has the Tangle Free just regular layouts.
Yeah.
And that kind of put us in a pickle there because I only had my personal mow marshes, mine and my dad's. He let me bring his up here. And that's typically what I hunt out of in Arkansas. So down there where I do my fun hunting, all the guys in the group, we all got them. So it really works. And I like it because I can get like sometimes, you know, if I don't have a good hide on my levee and not a lot of grass, and I don't like to. What I've seen is if you change the height of stuff, like so, say I got low grass. Well, I don't want to go throw this A-frame there because most of the time these birds are going to the same spot every time, spot every time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they show up and there's this big thing sticking out. It's like, that's not right. And then
now, do you think it's a big thing sticking out, or maybe that big thing casting a shadow?
I think it's the thing sticking out because these birds see these sleds and these big blinds they're not there. And then all of a sudden, right around duck season, they're there. And then there's always decoys in front of them, and they get blasted at, and they get educated on it. And so what I try to do is if I have tall grass on my levee, then I'll run something like a panel blind or a fast strike or something like that and tuck in that. But I always try to match what's already out there. Try to make it look as natural as possible and make those birds feel comfortable. I think it makes them very uncomfortable when you start put something random. So like we were talking about, Bryce was asking me, is like, well, how come these guys put these panel blinds out in the middle of these fields and shoot these birds? Well, my point of view on it is I think those are traffic fields. So those birds aren't using that. So they're not used to seeing that. So if you can create that thing that looks like a big patch of grass or hear a false levee, then you have a chance. But if you're hunting birds that have been going to the area for a long time, and then all of a sudden there's something weird in there, doesn't work.
Yeah. And that's a lot of, the show kind of pushes to the newer hunters. This is Chris's second year of second season duck hunting. I've been duck hunting. Like I said, I'm the fourth generation from the Sac Valley. It's trying to get people to understand how to read birds and knowing that, there's a difference between being on the X in a loaf or on a feed or hunting a roost or, pulling traffic. I think some guys, they kind of see, you see it on TV and YouTube and all this stuff. And we're, not that people don't know and take the time to explain exactly, but, for some people who just watch it, oh man, they put those panel blinds there and, the ducks are landing on it. The geese are landing on it. I'm going to go do this in my, my farm pond where they're at every morning or where they're going to come out and sleep at. And they try that, and the birds flare, and they're kind of like, well, why did that happen? So I mean, what would you rather hunt, the traffic, or hunting a loaf or a feed?
So for me, I'd rather hunt that X, and that's I like to hunt those mow marshes or layouts right there. But this season, it's up here. It's gone against everything that I've learned in Arkansas. So I've done it on 2 hunts to where I'm like, okay, these birds are coming in right here. I'm going to get as close as I can to it with the best hide possible in these layouts. And I'm going to pull these birds over here because, they'll constantly kind of bounce around close to those areas they're feeding. And because back where I do my fun hunting, man, you hop in these pits and these birds will be coming. Oh yeah, they're coming. And 50 yards out, they just absolutely dodge these pits. Absolutely dodge. And then up here, it's been opposite. They've been dodging me in the layouts. As soon as I go into the pits, we shoot them. Like I had some buddies come up for Thanksgiving, did a hunt, and then we also do some year leasing with some pits. But the way we do our year leasing is when guys aren't here, we do some guiding out of it if we get their permission. And also if they're not here and another guy who has a year lease pit wants to go hunt it because his doesn't, we allow that too. So you pay one. I like it because you pay one price. You pay one most of the time in Arkansas, like you pay it, that's where you hunt. If you're watching those birds dump into this other guy's field, well, too bad. You got to sit there and watch it. But it's kind of cool the way to do it. So say he's not here. Well, it gives you more bang for your buck because it gives you more hunting opportunity.
Yeah, I really like that idea. Especially, because sometimes those ducks and those, especially when you have geese, they'll eat those feeds out and they just play leapfrog with all the feeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, But on Sunday we ran traffic. That was a little bit of a story. We were supposed to go with another outfitter, but he called me on Saturday after we hunted at like 6:30 and was like,
well, hate to interrupt you real quick, but so Chris and some other people give me shit about my calling skills on this podcast. I just want to be fair from an outside perspective. Am I that bad?
No, man, we put birds in. I mean, it's good calling.
Hey, what'd you say? Bad calling's good calling, right?
Yeah, bad's calling better than nothing.
Bad calling at the right time is great calling. It's not. I mean, we talked about it with some of the guys in the pit. Not every duck sounds like a championship duck caller.
Yeah.
Or a championship goose caller. Like on spec season, we had this one goose. It didn't even speckle belly. It didn't even sound like a goose. Like I don't know what it was, but it was making that noise. It's just knowing when to make the right noises and the cadence. The cadence is the biggest thing. It's knowing when and getting that cadence down. That's what kills birds. As long as you do that, that's what kills birds.
Yeah, and I think another thing is a lot of guys get. I'm one of them too. Joe's over here talking crap, but have you seen Happy Feet?
Yeah.
You see that penguin that can't sing? That's me calling, man. So, but I think another thing that I did learn is when you're calling, when you're hunting, you don't have to be a competition caller. You're just out there hunting. There's a difference, and me and Joe have talked about this, and he kind of talked to me about it. It's like there's a difference when you're calling at Worlds versus calling out just to get some birds, put them in your freezer and stuff. So I think that's one thing that a lot of new waterfowl hunters get a little bit intimidated by, the whole how to call, because I learned really fast that it's not just air; it's air from that hot air from your diaphragm. It's kind of interesting too. It's like, if you really think about it, singers would probably be ideal callers.
Yeah, but
voice control.
Yeah,
but like for me and Sharp were talking about this. If you look at my call, I do have a call shelf at my house that my wife made, and my kids have a call shelf. We have a lot of calls in my household. But I'm not a call collector. I'm 100% every call I have, I've hunted. And it's killed birds. And the reason why I have so many calls is they're all different pitches, and they're all different. They make a mallard duck sound, a speckle belly sound, but different. I think sometimes, especially as birds get down to Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Southeast Texas, they've ran that gauntlet. They have the survivability college doctorate of not getting not being fooled. And I think from the Dakotas, Canada, all the way down to the Missouris, they've heard the high balls. They've heard the ticka-ticka, the ducka-duckas. And it's at that point when they get down, with us, and even like the speckle bellies, they hear the double clucks, and they hear, all these yodels, that it's giving them something different that they haven't already heard. How do you think that went for us Sunday?
I think it worked well on Sunday. I think it worked really well because sometimes, so I wouldn't see a bird coming in, you'd start calling, and I'd see, okay, it's reacting to his sound. And then I'd hit a 2-note or a 3-note or something like that, and I'd see the bird get a little weary. And then you'd hit it, and I'd see him lock back up. Well, when I saw that, I would shut up and let you work the birds. And then on some instances, they really liked that variation of sound. So I was 5/8. You were blowing your 3/4 and your half?
I was blowing my 3/4, and then immediately if you blow your 5/8, when we're talking about this, we're talking about Rice and Custom Calls. Shout out to them, Bill Daniels, great people, great guy, great company down here in Louisiana. I really noticed that they were reacting they're getting real comfortable with the what do you call it, the half gut, and for me, I can get real soft in that half gut. So when they're kind of just fluttering over you, I can get those soft clucks, and it doesn't spook them. Usually, you see the chickens do that, but we were shooting a lot of bars.
We shot a lot of bars, and they dumped. They
dumped. I mean,
it was a good hunt, man. It was good. It was a good hunt.
Hugging pumpkins and I like to call the S-neck.
Yeah, toting melons.
Yeah. Toting melons. But I'll say for you, when I first got there, we didn't call her. I didn't try calling her nothing. What I did like about you was that you allowed me to call, with you, and I will say this. Hey, next August, me and you need to go to Stuttgart for the Speckle Bellies.
Let's do it. Let's do
team Speckle Belly.
Bro, you guys are like, what is that movie, Step Brothers? Did we just come best friends?
Best friends, yeah. That's how it was.
Yeah.
It was like when he's left, I was like, I just made it.
Yeah.
You want to make bunk beds?
Me too.
Oh, God.
You blow Riceland? You blow Riceland? Yes. You want to do karate in the basement?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
bro, I just want to kill ducks.
Yeah. Well, I will say what calling with you is, some guys, some guys get real offended about their clients calling with them.
I think it adds to your arsenal. It's like when you have more decoys out, if they're just hearing that one sound, that's a little sketchy. And I mean, that's what they get, it's one guy.
Yeah.
5 clients not doing anything. Well, those birds, that's what they're getting used to. They're educated on that. That sound doesn't sound, it sounds good, but why is only that one bird talking? When you add that variation in, and I could definitely tell with you, Joe, you knew what you were doing. So it was like, it'd be a difference if someone starts sounding like a kazoo. But I knew you were a good hunter, and I was like, okay, this is going to help us. We're going to have, we got this many decoys out. This is going to help us. This is going to increase our odds.
Yeah. What I thought was probably like I think I like to call it Sunday's game changer. Because we had 1 or 2 specs. We had 2 or 3 specs on the ground, and them snows came in.
Bro, I should have just drove up there. God.
I know. I told you to come.
Yeah.
They had room.
Blast.
When me and you pulled those snows with our speckle belly calls,
I was blowing that snow call.
Huh?
I was blowing that little.
You were blowing. You were blowing.
I was blowing that little Sean Man. I think it's like a Snow Express. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
I think Express is all $50 call.
Yeah.
Not bad. I mean, I was just ripping on it too, and we pulled them 200-300 yards.
Yeah, they were definitely
just. And we thought we lost them. I was like, oh well, that's it. But we were still just ripping, and I look, and I mean, they went. What they did is they came over the one patty, circled up, lined up in the wind, and started coming in. Now we were like, oh, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it.
Yeah, we beat up on those pretty good. It was nice. I think watching the snow, Chris, when we were hitting them, and we're making and I was on a spec call. He was on the snow. He was bouncing out, I think, from snow and spec, and because we had a really good spread of socks, silos, full bodies, and we were just making. We were out of breath going like this. I started mouth calling. And I wasn't mouth calling to actually, what do you call it? Mouth call. I was just doing it to make noise while I caught my breath.
So all of this, man, all I'm hearing is that we're going to be there this weekend. So.
Yeah, I mean, we
got room in the line. I only got 3 clients this weekend.
Yeah, we worked those birds. It took us about 10 minutes to get them.
It was cool. I mean, and we knocked 5, and just the energy in the blind, it was like, okay, it's time. And then pretty much
everyone's confidence went up after that. After we had a good volley, everyone's confidence went up. And every volley that was coming in, we were shooting. We were hitting birds, and it was nice. We sailed to it was the spec that we sailed pretty far.
Yeah, well, that was the one where it came in and then it started to make that little murmur. Like, okay, yeah, it started to make that little murmur, and so reading your birds. One of the biggest thing is just watch, like for new guys, watch birds. Like if you do something and they kind of act like they're going away from that call, stop it, change it, new sound. Try something different. Like that's what I've always found with duck hunting or waterfowl hunting in general. If something's not working, you got to change it. And like I usually determine that on like 3 or 4 groups of birds. If it's not working, you got to change. Nothing's going to happen. You got to, like, that's the name of the game. And I mean, I'm not the greatest caller in the world. I'm not the greatest guide, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to I'm always going to bust my butt and try to figure out something, how to make these birds do it right. Something's got to change. I don't care if it's hide, decoy spread. Like I'm going to get out and I'm going to change and I'm going to do it as fast as possible, get back in and try to start back on some birds.
And I'll definitely, I've seen that firsthand experience. I completely agree with you on that one, on that self-evaluation of your drive and your hustle, because even that second day, now, I remember that, we were ending the duck hunt. We had a good duck. We killed, 7 ducks and that one speck. And we were talking. You were like, man, I don't know what's going to go on. We kind of had a change of plans last minute. But I mean, I think me and you talked about it. And it was like, hey, man, like, let's do the Hail Mary. You definitely had your gut feeling. And you went in there with a precise game plan. I think that game plan you came up with really was the what do you call it, the game changer. Especially knowing that, hey man, we got to put some snow. I mean, putting those snow geese socks out. I think that was 100%. Was it the confidence that those geese needed to finish.
So I've been having trouble with the specs up here this year, and what I've been doing is I've been running small full body spreads because that's usually what gets it done. And we changed it, and so like we were talking about earlier, we had something happen. We were supposed to go with another guy. He bailed last minute, so I hunted the pit that we hunted. I went out by myself. I didn't have anybody for the last day of the split, our first split, so I went out by myself, and I knew I wasn't going to go blast birds. I knew I could have gone to another spot and shot my limit. What I really wanted to do is I wanted to go hunt this one pit I hadn't been to before, just to kind of learn it and figure it out and see what the birds in the area were doing. And I shot 2 teal and a speckle belly by myself. And it was still a really good hunt. But I saw that there was a lot of feeds. And what it comes down to is me running around watching birds. I've been watching the birds in my area. That's what I do every evening. Whatever I do, like I've been in the split and I've stayed up here and I've kind of been doing some landscaping stuff to make some money and, make it worth my while for staying up. But on the evenings, I'd go run around. I want to go check what my fields are looking like. Where are my birds at? Or before I'd go in and go do some work for a person, I'd run around and go check. I always watching my birds. And that's kind of one thing I haven't had because I've always been a oozer. I'm out of stater. I have a short period of time to be there. So I got to watch my birds really quick and then figure out and adapt. Well, now that I have the time, I'm going to go study those things. Like I'm going to watch them. I'm going to figure them out. And I knew after hunting that pit, I only had 4 speck decoys out there and just like maybe a dozen ducks kind of scattered around. And I just knew. I called Dustin. I said, man, I'm going to shoot some geese out of this pit. This pit's set up really good for geese. It's set up really good for geese. And there was multiple snow and speck feeds kind of surrounding it. So I was like, you know what? Let's go here and run traffic and set this one. And we did it. And like you said, like Joe said, I had about 10 dozen dive bomb socks, and I hadn't done that yet this year. I hadn't run it, and I was like, you know what? Let's put them out. Let's try it. Let's try something different. Let's try something that I haven't done yet, because what I've been doing has not been getting it done. and it gave them the confidence. And also, we had a very low ceiling, foggy, cloudy, so it pushed all those birds down. And if they kind of flew in the general area, that white is what let them see us. We popped, and then we used the calling to pull them in. And sometimes, we do the hammer on them till they feed down the decoys. And then a few birds, we had to do a little bit of finesse calling.
Yeah.
But it's just all about changing and reading your birds.
Yeah. I will say too. So, especially when it comes to like waterfowl, and like you hit it on the button, like you don't have to be the best caller. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to have the best decoys. I think it's just going out there and grinding and working harder than the guy next to you. And I found that. I mean, hell, I found that with Joe when we were grinding. Man, some of those days were rough, but and some of those days we had successful days. Some of those days, people strike out. It happens, but. I think that's what I fell in love with is the grind. I think that's what got me into waterfowl was that grind to get that duck. And I've talked to a lot of guys back home here in Texas since I moved back. They're all, because I grew up and I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but big game hunting. So talking to them, it's like, oh, it's not worth it with just getting, a limit of 6, whatever it may be, green heads or a limit of 3 wood ducks or whatever it may be. But to me, it is, man. And I think ducks are like best to none when it comes to like game food. So
yeah. Dude, I will say this. You know how I knew old Sharp was gonna be a good dude? He's a lefty like me. Old squirrel shot.
Oh wow, man. I'm about to end this love triangle.
Old lefty.
On, man.
So, hey, Sharp.
You guys are having like a Brokeback Mountain moment.
Yeah. I wouldn't go there. Hey. There was one awkward moment in the blind. I was like,
oh, man. At least he didn't fart in your face.
Oh yeah. We had a hunt where we had a guest that couldn't hold the face. Yeah, couldn't hold his gas.
Like, God.
But if you got to guide anywhere, Sharp, where do you think, any state, any flyway, or duck, goose, or whatever, what would be one of your, if you got to, have that for one season, what would be that one special place where you'd want to guide at?
I want to get out of the States. I want to go to Canada. I really want to go to Canada. I want to go hunt those young birds. I want to be able to. I'm not very fluent on a Canada call, but I've kind of been dabbling with it, and I want to get up there and kind of in that Saskatchewan area. You do get some of those specs passing through in there because they kind of come to cut down, and I want to go do that. That's kind of on one of my bucket lists. So I'm gonna try to keep working. Anyone out there listening wants to hire someone for I'm your guy. I'm telling you, I'll outwork anybody. That's
me and Sharp will come as a pair.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we're champion.
They'll come as a pair. Yeah.
In Stuttgart.
Yeah, I'm serious about that. I felt like, I know I can compete. If I can trick a bird, if we can trick snows to come down to spec calls, we got this.
You guys have matching bracelets yet?
No, not yet.
We actually got matching tattoos.
Yeah,
on the one on the left butt cheek, the other on the right.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Heart, and we put them together. Makes a whole.
Oh man, good time.
Oh man, yeah. But what was it? So I know you were talking about the geese and all that. Have you dabbled any in the conservation snow goose?
I have not. That's one thing I want to do. It's just been hard for me to get up here. We actually, me, my dad, and all his buddies, we've kind of come together and we've got us a little spread. We're gonna try it a little bit this year. I also talked to another outfitter today. I'm still in school. I took a couple years off and worked, and now I'm back in. So I'm finishing up next semester, and so I haven't really been able to do it because that's in my prime time.
Yeah.
But next year, I definitely want to hit it. I think I'd fall in love. I'm a little afraid though, because I think I'm just going to absolutely go head over heels for it. And, because it's one of those things where I like doing difficult stuff. What hooks me is like, if stuff's easy, I mean, yeah, cool. We went and shot our like teal. Don't get me wrong. I love going down and shooting those teal, but it's really easy. Like you throw decoys out there, you sit there. I mean, you can call, but most of the time, like it does help. Most of the time, if they're coming, they're coming. And it seems just like with those snows, man, they're so smart, and you got to grind for it. And that's what I love about waterfowling is everything. It's like, it's not just shooting the birds. It's everything coming together. That's what got me hooked. Just setting up, the preparation, the scouting, the hanging out in the blind, bullshitting. Like it's just so much all in one, and that's why I love it.
Yeah.
And you want an application? I'm about to hire you. Man, you sound exactly like, and that's exactly how I felt when it came to duck hunting or even going out there. It's just that grind, man. Being out there in the blind or being out there with your buds and stuff. So, but man, that's good. So I guess I did have a question. So Canadians, and here's one thing. I've never hunted Canadians. So you said you've never hunted Canadians?
I have. I've hunted some locals back in Georgia, and then I've done a little bit in North Dakota when I was kind of just getting into the DIY. But I'm not very educated on them. I got a lot to learn, and that's one of the.
What's crazy too is that's all I see here in North Texas where I'm at, because I'm right here in North Texas, like towards the Oklahoma border. And man, I don't have a Canadian, I don't have a goose call, like a Canadian geese car or nothing like that. So, but man, I see them fly over me all the time. That I just really don't know what to do with them. As far as like,
are they the big honkers or are they smaller?
No, they're big. I think majority of them are local birds, but they're flying somewhere, man.
Yeah, I know Texas is known for the cacklers. North Texas. Sharp. What was it? Tom that we're hunting with this weekend. I don't know if he showed you any of that dude has collected and shot some banded Canada geese.
Oh, sorry, I'm grabbing a beer.
Oh, good job.
He's a great guy. Very, very fun guy to talk with.
Yeah,
we definitely got to do one with him on here too.
Yes, we definitely do. So what I liked about this weekend was we had good hunters from different regions and different flyways that were real, knowledgeable in their region. All come together. I think it was me, you, and him sitting down. We're having a beer and a cocktail and talking about our different experiences on different flyways and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, Tom was definitely, he knows what he's doing up north. I mean, he was showing me, I've never seen someone shoot so many double banded geese. I've probably seen 6 or 7 double banded geese this dude shot.
He's in a good spot for it. And
yeah,
what we were talking about when he was here, it's like, everyone loves the cloud about the bands. I've personally never shot a band. But I think it's all about where you hunt and where, like, if you're close to a region where they're banding birds and like it's where the study is on these birds. And he's in a really good spot for it. And he's a great hunter too. Great hunter. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing with bands though. It's just, if you're in the area, you're more likely to shoot bands, and certain flyways and certain populations of birds are going to get banded more than others. It's like certain's got more precedence over it, or it's easier access to band them.
Yeah. So, oh man, I know you shot that big canvasback this season.
Yeah, we
in the rice field too.
That was on that hunt where we went out and scouted it, and I was like, all right, we're gonna stay, because everything what I've learned is stay away from the pits if you can. Go in the layout. So we went in the layouts, Went in early, brushed them up real good, great hide. But the birds did not like it. I mean, it was like right at, probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half into the hunt, possibly 2 hours. And we had like six or seven ducks between 7 of us and 2 geese. We shot some kind of higher, geese right at the edge to where they're coming over. You can knock down a few, and we knocked down 2. And one of the guys we were hunting with goes, "Hey, can we hunt that point right there?" And I go, "Yeah, the pit's right there." And I was like, let's wait one more flock. And I was like, let's see, we're finally getting some sunshine, finally getting some wind. We're getting some little bit of movement in the decoys. And this group does the same thing. They kind of look at you, come in 15 yards out from doing it right, pull out. And I look over to my right, and there's just green wings dumping. I was like, all right, let's go. We go over there, go throw out a dozen decoys, and we just start smashing teal. And all of a sudden, that canvasback, he came by earlier in the morning, buzzed our decoys, and I saw him. He came by, buzzed us again, and then I did a little bit of that like diver call on a just regular mallard call where you just kind of roll your tongue with it. And after he went past, and he just did a 180, turned around, locked up, and he was coming down my side, and I was guiding my buddies, and then we had those guys that were doing the yearliest hunting with us. And he came in on my side, and it was like, kill him, boom. I just jumped up and shot because I've never shot one before. One shot at him. I was like, sorry, boys. I got to get one. I got it.
So that's how it was when I was guiding a hunt for Val and Honor down here. And we're telling you when I shot and mounted that eagle. Not a bald eagle.
Yeah, I was about to.
Yeah, that full blue snow. I think did I show you the mount?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and it's funny that I've hunted all my life. I've never shot a blue goose. That was the one and only blue goose I've ever shot. Yeah, but there was a lot of guys shooting with that.
Yeah, who knows who hit what? I know on one little guy on that first shot. I popped up and I was like, I picked him, and I was shooting that pattern master, and I had a one of those heavy X number 2s, and I just rush him, and then it was like fair game. Because I kept, the one thing I thought was a little weird, I'd call the shot, and it would be like almost those newer guys didn't want to be the first one to shoot.
They're kind of hesitant, yeah.
You notice that too? There was like a little lull.
Yeah. And usually when I'm hunting for, going as a Val and Honor representative, I usually try to shoot last. Me I try to back everyone up.
That's the same way especially being y'all's guide. Like I didn't want to especially when they're coming on my end, I'm not going to pull up and be the first shooting. Like the first 3 birds we shot, I didn't even pull the trigger.
Yeah. With a lot of those, I'll shoot last, not because I'm worried about, them hitting or not hitting. Is if some of those birds, those geese are pretty hardy. I was plucking, they're pretty hardy birds. And sometimes when dudes are hitting them and you kind of see them crypt and they'll move on to another one, I'll shoot back up and put a second or third shot on some of those birds that need a little bit extra love to hit the water.
That's why I carry my gun with me. I tell guys, most of the time I'm not going to shoot my birds just because doing it every day and you end up with a lot of birds. It's a lot of ducks and geese to eat. But what I do is I like to, I'll pull up on those every once in a while and knock down those birds so I don't have to send my dog all the time and wear them out,
Yeah.
And it reduces your cripples. Like I don't like crippling losing birds. Like if we shoot them, I want to bring them back and clean them and eat them.
Yeah.
I don't like leaving birds out in the field. It hurts me. And it was really cool, man. I was really happy with my dog on Sunday on that one.
Yeah.
That was probably the highlight of my season so far.
Was that when he got that crip?
Yeah, when he got that spec, man.
That was that. What was it? About 400 yards it went off?
Yeah, and what happened was so where we were hunting, there was one patty. We were hunting kind of 2 patties. We were hunting a levee that went down right down the middle. and it sailed over another one. And what it looked like to us, from our perspective, was it went down in the one right across. So I sent him and got him over there, and I think it was like 2 casts and got him going. And then, I gave him an over to where I thought the bird was, and there's nothing. Gave him another over back the other way to check, nothing. And I was like, okay, that bird can't be there. Like he's a great marking dog. That's a big bird. He should be able to see it. So I was like, there's something wrong. And then when I walked over there, I remembered there was a big slough over there. So I walk over there, get him back to me, send him on another blind, send him through the slough, across the slough into another dry field that's supposed to have water. It was dry. Gave him a good over, let him over that way, and nothing. I was like, okay, that's weird. Call him. So I was like, okay, it's got to be in this cover right on the slough. So I call him back to me, send him back out on the thing. But then I gave him, instead of giving him a cast, I gave him a hunt him up command and gave him an over to hunt it up the cover. And I gave him about a minute hunting up the cover. And all of a sudden I see him bringing it back to me. And I was so happy. It's so happy. Like that so with my dog Wyatt, sometimes he thinks, okay, he was getting a lot of birds. I'm a better hunter than you. And it's kind of my fault to an extent, but working a full-time job, man, it's hard to get out and train a dog, give him the reps that you really need. And I've been training, don't get me wrong, before the season started, we were going out 2 or 3 days a week and doing stuff, but to really get a dog going, you got to do it every single day. You got to do it every day. And it was really cool for him to do that. And he was finally like really taking my cast, like looking, turning. And I knew it really hit him good because when he walked over there and I gave him a stop whistle, he absolutely just turned and made eye contact. He's like, okay, you know where this bird is. You're going to put me on this bird. And that was awesome. That was the highlight of my season right there. He just like a 7-year-old dog. He's a great hunting dog. And
he has such a good demeanor. Real friendly. He definitely made friends with everyone in the duck blind, everyone at the lodge.
Maybe a little too friendly, Bryce.
Yeah, maybe a little Bryce, a little too friendly.
Like how friendly? Like weird friendly? Or he's just a dog lover.
New people, what he'll do is he'll hop up on the couch and like you give him attention, start petting him. He gets a little too frisky, and
okay.
He'll kind of start coming like licking your face. And you kind of got to push him down a little bit, but he's a good dog. Like I got my buddy here with me up from Oxford. Told him, say, hey, I got a bunch of stuff I got to do before this next split comes in. And I called Dustin and I said, hey, do you mind if I have a friend come help me in work and let me take him out on a hunt? And he's like, yeah, we can do that. So he's doing a little bit of work with me and we're going on a hunt in the morning.
Nice.
Yeah. So for guys going on a hunt, and especially with paying clients and all that, gear-wise, gun-wise, shell-wise, hunting those pits, hunting those layouts, because, you're definitely versatile. You're not one dimension when it comes to how you're hunting them. What's some gear that you really think they need if they were like, hey, I'm going to come out of state and go hunt in Arkansas? What's some gear that you would recommend for them to have a successful, comfortable hunt with you guys?
So you're definitely going to want to bring a pair of waders. You can get by with I wear hip boots. Sometimes you can get by with hip boots. But a lot of times with guys getting out of the pit, you get water on the benches and stuff like that. And wearing a pair of hip boots, if it's cold, your butt gets wet, guys get miserable. And then good pair of gloves, always good to have a good pair of gloves in case it gets cold. Always bring something for rain. You never know what the weather's going to do. Have something that's at least water repellent. I'd say for your gun, have a full or modified choke. Is because sometimes, especially the later the season gets, the further away I push my decoys. Me personally, I shoot a full. I shoot a full out of my 12. I was shooting a full out of my 20. But I was shooting boss. but I wasn't hitting the broadside of a barn. I couldn't hit anything, and I was getting really freaking mad. And then I switched to that modified, which I was shooting for dove season. Went back to that modified, started crushing birds. So I'd say a full or modified choke. For shell wise, I know it's hard to get shells right now. For ducks, I like shooting Boss 5s. They're those little shorties.
Yeah, that's what I was shooting.
Personal favorite. My personal favorite shell for ducks. But for like all around, you know, because a lot of times what we're set up for is we're set up for a kind of a duck and spec combo. You can get by with number 2s. Like I'd say kind of, you know, 2s. And because it is hard. So like, you know, if you buy shells for ducks and geese, it's be like, all right, shoot, they're coming in, you know, specs, take out your 4s and put in your 2s. So I think 2s are kind of a good all around thing. Definitely bring a headlamp too, just so you can see getting it out blind. Blind bag is always good to have, not necessary, but good to have, so you can pack snacks and stuff like that. Sometimes when my guided hunts, if I got time, I'll cook you breakfast in the pit. It does get a little tight in the pit, cooking breakfast on those little, use a little just Coleman.
Yeah.
And propane stove, and I'll do that sometimes. But yeah, I'd say those are kind of the best things for bringing gear wise.
What's the top 2 mistakes you see clients making when they come down hunting?
Pie facing, number 1. Pie facing.
Yeah.
And another thing I will say is I had this one kid. They say it was my first day up here guiding with Dustin. Being able to shoulder a gun. And that's what a lot of guys don't practice. Like sometimes for a season, I'll get my gun out and I'll practice standing up and shouldering and just making sure it's a fluid motion. Like we shot 19 birds in total, but we should have shot way more. But he just could not get on the birds. Like, you know, they'd come in and I didn't even fire a shot. Well, a lot of times it's going to be fast. You know, it's reading your birds. Sometimes, okay, today they're just not doing it right. And sometimes every single time I'd love to put them feet down, backpedal them into the decoys. But hunting's not picture perfect. They're not going to do that every single time. Sometimes you're going to have to take what they give you, and what they give you is them coming over the decoys kind of quick. And I'm going to make a call to say, okay, hey, are y'all okay with shooting birds like this? Because they're not doing it. Are y'all okay? And then they're going to say a lot of times, yeah, we're okay with shooting them like that. And it's just adjusting, you know, and changing it so you can shoot those birds. But that kid, he had trouble. So what we did was we sat him down and we said, okay, I want you to shoulder your gun. And we made him practice. After that, we made him do it. You know, we mocked the situation and we say, all right, look, we're going to throw the thing. You get up and throw your gun. And we also showed him changing how his footing is. He was standing 2 feet parallel facing forward. Well, that's an awkward position with your hips. You know, you don't have much range of movement. But if you have 1 foot forward and one kind of back a little bit, you have way more twist. Your body opens. You can pivot a lot more. And after we did that, had a greenhead come in and he smoked him.
Nice. I'm almost 90% sure that's on his wall now.
Yeah. No, we breasted him out. But we that little trick I showed you.
You know what?
Pull the breast out completely, and then
that's where I draw the line. Is they do up in Arkansas. I'll tell you what the biggest difference between an Arkansas hunter and being down here in Southwest Louisiana, they skins coming off in the trash and they're breasting all their birds. Where when you breast it, the only thing you're breasting down here is pen feathered teal and divers. You breast a fat bat mallard down here, and mess sacrilege right there.
Yeah, it's a sin in Louisiana for sure. But I mean, I offer, so we clean birds at the end of the hunt. We clean and tag all our birds. I pluck some people, they want them plucked, but most people are like, just press them out. So I do that little trick. It's pretty cool. What you do is you lay the bird down and you stick your fingers in below the breastplate, and peel the skin back like you would to breast any other bird. And then make sure your wings are out a little bit, and you step on the back two legs. And then you step right on the head or below the neck to where you're getting right there, kind of right where the top of the breastplate is. Then you stick your fingers in the bottom of the breastplate, and then in that hole in the top of the breastplate, you pull back with that hand that is on the back of the back part of the breastplate and crack open the ribs. And then you pull right there from that front hand up by the neck, and it pulls the whole breastplate out with the wings attached, and then you cut the one wing off. So then you're abiding by the Lacey Act for transporting birds across state lines.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have you videotape that.
Yeah,
and us put it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we definitely will do that.
If we shoot some birds tomorrow, I'll get my buddy to get a video of it.
Nice. That would be awesome. That was for guys who don't like the thighs or whatever. Don't like
retarded, but
gloves. I got mine in the brine. I'm probably gonna take them out.
Yeah, I got mine brine. I'm
those legs and those hearts I saved.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take those out of the brine tomorrow and throw them in the freezer, and I'll make my hearts, thighs, and I got those two teal I shot. I plucked them. I'll make a nice little gravy out of them.
Nice.
So something we do. My bad. Something we do before because man, we could talk forever. Something that we kind of do. So how does your setup? What does your setup look as far as like shotgun shells? We kind of got bits and pieces as you're like kind of talking what you recommend people to come bring down when they go hunt with you in Arkansas. But what does your setup typically look like every day as far as shotgun, aftermarket choke? What kind of choke, and then what kind of shells? What do you typically like? And lanyard. What typically you like shooting and then using?
So for my shotgun, I'm shooting a SB2, left-handed, and then I also have a M2 left-handed 20 gauge. Kind of just bounce around between the two. For my shells, for my 12 gauge, if I bring two bags. I bring some goose shells and some duck shells. Mm-hmm. I shoot those fives, those Boss Shorty fives for ducks, and then for geese, it's kind of like it's a mixed bag. I got all kinds of stuff. The cool thing is too, a lot of guys will leave shells in the blind, so I got just a bag of smorgasbord of shells. But I'll put Black Cloud 2s, and I got some Boss number 2s. I got some Heavy Hammer number 2s. I got some Heavy X 2s, and that's kind of what I'll use for specs. And then for my calls, I got a daisy cutter, one of the older soundboard ones, like we were talking about, Joe. I've kind of gone more simple. I used to have a lot of calls on my lanyard, but what I've learned from hunting those layouts is when I have all those calls, I start to juggle them. So I was like, all right, what do I use day in and day out? What, when I'm doing like the combo hunts is what I mostly do, what do I use day in, day out? Okay. So I use my daisy cutter, and then I was blowing that 5/8 Riceland spec call. And I just got that 3/4. I'm probably not going to hunt it while I'm hunting, the kind of that combo, because I'm not quite proficient on it yet. I'm still kind of making some errors. I got to master the call first. I'm going to take it tomorrow with me because we're just spec hunting. Yeah. But I got a Fowler hide lanyard this year. Not bad. I like it. It's still kind of breaking it in. Only problem I have with it is always just picking up calls and blowing them. The bottom of it kind of hooks up a little bit on me, and that's the only thing I don't like about it. And then I'll always, when I'm duck hunting, I have a whistle. Man, a whistle, most underrated call in duck hunting. Man, because I like to have it too, because we see a lot of teal and we see widgeon sometimes, and we see a lot of pintails. So that's a good one. So I guess I'll break it down real quick. So when I'm doing that combo, it's that daisy cutter, my Riceland 5/8, a whistle, and then a dog whistle.
Nice. Well, man, I mean, it was honestly this was a really good talking to you, and man, hopefully we can I can actually make it down there and see if I can get that sparkle that I see in Joe's eyes right now when he talks to you. But I'm just kidding. Yeah, man, I definitely need to go down there. You definitely sound like you like getting out there and grinding. That's something that I've liked about it too. So, other than that, Joe, do you have anything before we go?
Nah, I'm good, bro.
Sharp. No, go ahead.
Go Dogs. We're going back. Go Dogs. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
It's Gig'em Gang on this podcast, man. I'm just kidding.
This is what happens. You see us Georgia boys. We always got to show our ass somehow.
Yeah. I got a bunch of buddies down in Georgia, Dogs fans, so I got to hear them all the time. But yeah, man, it was definitely fun. We definitely need to get another hunt going and stuff. Hopefully I can make it down there this time. And like always, I want to thank Val and Honor Outdoors for what they do. Everybody that's been with us on this road, it's been really good. Riceland Custom Calls, RMC Calls, Stump. Thank you for what being a friend to us and Joe. I want to thank basically everybody, man. Everybody that's been with us on this grind. All the companies all the guys that have been on the show here on. Joe, we got like a month and then we're done with our first season. So it's intense. Yeah. It's crazy. And it's definitely gone a lot better than what we expected when we started this. So
there's a lot of big things that are coming with this podcast. It's growing a lot faster than I thought. And we have some definitely big works coming in. Big works coming in the next future. Big decisions. So y'all look out for that. Y'all keep subscribing. Hit that subscribe button. Again, find us on any podcast platform that you have, Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever it may be. I want to thank our international listeners. And like always, y'all have a good one and let Valor not fail.